Today we're talking about the 5 INFJ traits that irritate other people. You know that I've talked to a lot of INFJs throughout the last 8 years that this channel has been alive. But I've also talked to a lot of people who have INFJs in their life about all of the traits that we embody, because this has been my life. This has been everything I've been focused on. And so it became very clear to me what actually irritates other people. So often INFJs come to me and they say, I don't know what happened. People come up to me and things seem to work out greatly. And then one day, just something happens and people are completely irritated or they just ghost me. I don't know what happened. This is something I've experienced myself so often. But now, having been focused on INFJ and everything that entails for the last 8 years, it has become very clear to me what the 5 traits are that most people are irritated by. And it's not me saying, oh, you should stop these things, but it's one thing to not know what's going on or to be completely aware, okay, that's what bothers people, and then it's on me if I want to change that or not. So today we're going to dive deeper into this. Before we get started, I want to remind you the next INFJ Epic Life Bootcamp is just around the corner. The launch will be November 6th, so make sure you're on that waiting list so you get access to the early bird price and you get notified once we go live. All the information you find in the links in the description. Trait number 1, the INFJ represents an image of harmony. Believe it or not, most people are actually irritated by that because that means there's nothing they can say against you. And this makes people uncomfortable because every person has some kind of trait that others don't like. Every person has something to say, some kind of opinion that makes other people uncomfortable. And this is actually how we make up our mind on who that person is. For other people, it's extremely difficult to do that about the INFJ. Because what we do most of the time is that we make sure that we don't do or say anything that makes other people uncomfortable. We know somebody has a different political view. We don't voice our view unless it's something that really bothers us. We know somebody likes a particular kind of music. Well, it's not our kind of music, but that doesn't mean that we actually voice what we like. And it definitely doesn't mean that we're going to put on our music when we know the other person isn't going to like that. And I actually see this while talking to other INFJs as well. It's not even other people. We, even as INFJs, can see this in other INFJs, but we can't see it in ourselves. So what we have to ask ourselves is, am I really showing up in a way that makes me comfortable? Am I showing up in a way that makes me be authentic? Or am I showing up in a way where I'm not rocking the boat, where I'm making sure that I rather walk on eggshells than make somebody uncomfortable? We have a space on this earth. We deserve to be ourselves and to take space. And that also means that we are allowed to be something that other people don't like. And I know it's scary because there's judgment involved, but guess what? You can handle it. And the more you step out of that comfort zone, the more you're going to feel connected to other people, and the more people will have an image of who you actually are and not an image of, oh, that person has absolutely nothing wrong about them. Trait number 2, the INFJ connects on a deep level. So you might say, isn't that a good thing? Doesn't every person crave deep connection? Well, yes, at some point we do, but the point is that most people have so much stuff down low when it comes to their subconscious that it's scary for them when another person just, penetrates that. When somebody goes right for it and they say, okay, I see your pain, I see who you really are, and I want to connect with you on that level. Most people are not able to do that. So if a person goes through life, they've never met an INFJ or they barely know any INFJs in their life, and in particular, if they haven't had any close relationship with an INFJ, it is really scary for them if this happens out of nowhere, right? On some level, they feel seen, but there's such a scary part to this. There's such pain that is involved in this whole process that it makes a lot of people very uncomfortable. And what do we INFJs normally do? We actually say, I'm going to go even further. I'm even going to be more vulnerable in order to show the other person that they're safe with me. But what actually happens is that the other person sees that you're not afraid and that you can go so deeply, and that makes people uncomfortable. That irritates them because it makes it even scarier, because it seems like you have absolutely nothing to lose. You can go as deep as you like, just like that. The other person cannot do that. they have something to lose. So when it comes to this trait, it's to become aware that not everybody is able to go so deep so quickly as we as INFJs can. And to not think that it's because we haven't shown the other person how much we understand them or that we haven't been nice enough. No. It's just a normal process for most other types to take more time to open up, and that we should give that to them in order to allow this relationship to blossom on a steady and comfortable pace for everyone involved. Trait number 3. The INFJ is a different person to every single person they know. Believe it or not, this is something that is not just going on with you. This is probably every single INFJ that I've met, every single INFJ out there. We have the ability to be a different version of ourselves with every person that we meet. And this is a great skill of ours because with that, we can make people feel comfortable. With that, we can connect with people on those levels that we have something in common with. Right? So let's say you meet somebody and you have a very similar taste in, let's say adventures or where you like to travel to or any kind of leisure activity. And you connect on that. And at the same time, this person has a very strong moral code when it comes to certain aspects that you are like, I don't really care about. And you have another friend who's not moral in that aspect at all. And you're fine with that because you're just ambivalent, right? It doesn't really matter. But the point is that that first person thinks that you're just like them. They think that your moral compass when it comes to this one aspect is just as high as theirs because you've never voiced anything else, right? You just show them, oh, I'm like you. And you show those aspects to them that make them trust you. You show those aspects to them in which you have a lot in common. And people automatically will assume that you have so much more in common with them. This is just a normal human trait. We do that as well. But we as INFJs have learned that this is the best way to connect with somebody. This is the best way to make somebody feel seen. And we're doing this not because we want to portray an image of something that we're not. It's just something that we do because it makes the entire situation more meaningful, right? But at the same time, there's another person that you're somebody completely different with. And before you know it, something will happen that will cause those two people to meet. And this is something that so many INFJs try to avoid because once these two people meet, what do these people have in common? So friend A and friend B. The thing they have in common is you. And once they see how different they actually are, they will know that you're not that person that they thought you were. And for INFJs, this is a very hard moment. And that's why we don't like to mix friendship groups. But what we also have to be aware of is that this is not something that has to stay this way. It's totally okay to have opinions and worldviews that aren't in alignment with everything your friend thinks, right? We accept them, although they have different worldviews than ours, but we actually try to, make them comfortable. You have the right to be accepted with your worldviews and your opinions just as much. But if we don't voice them, if we don't make people aware of what is important to us and what isn't, they don't have the chance to actually decide for themselves, do they want to be friends with you or not? We take things to heart. We feel it very intensely when somebody doesn't like us, and we try to avoid that. But I'm here to tell you, dare to be yourself more and more, knowing that it's not going to be what people want from you. And you will see that it will allow you to have much deeper connections and much more authentic ones. And you'll be able to be the same person with everyone that you meet. You don't have to talk about the same things, but you don't have to hide them either. Trait number 4, the INFJ stays quiet when they're mad. The INFJ has a big tendency to be passive aggressive. We might blow up later, but most of the time we keep quiet. We keep quiet because of the fear of how the other person is going to react once we express our anger. We know that there is something like a demon within us. It's not something bad, but it feels so harsh to us that once we let it out, it will just destroy people or it will hurt them immensely. And definitely people will see that you're not this kind person overall that has no agenda, that has no dark side, right? We don't want to show this part because once you show this, people can actually judge you. You would judge yourself for this. And so we try to keep it hidden. But that leads to you being passive aggressive over and over again. And guess what that leads to? The typical INFJ door slam. For the ones of you who don't know what that is, it's if an INFJ has been pushed to the edge, they have tried over and over again to be the bigger person, and at some point they say, that's it. And they either ghost people, they completely ignore them, or they just get really, really mad, and the other person knows that the INFJ knew all along that they had the upper hand if it came down to it. So again, is this something that we have to change? Not necessarily. We don't have to create tension if we can avoid it. That's totally fine. But we also have to keep in mind that if we want a relationship to have a chance in the future, we have to be as open about what we don't like as early as possible. Because if we don't do that, we don't give the other person the chance to like you with all of those qualities that make you unlikable to some extent, right? If you're just showing this image of perfection, people, first off, don't really know you. And if they like you for something that you're not, just for a facade that you've been perfecting, right? We're really, really good at this, but we have to be aware this is a skill. It's not who we are. Who we really are is the person who also has a dark side, who also has a temper, who also can get mad. And this makes us human. And if we allow ourselves to show these aspects more and more, we actually also allow to have a deeper connection with people. And not just with this one person who could understand us for the first time, but with so many people on so many levels that you feel seen and understood on a completely new level. So dare to be more open about what you dislike, what isn't in alignment with who you want to be, and how you want to live your life. And trait number 5, the INFJ doesn't like to initiate, but they're also not followers. This is something that makes a lot of people uncomfortable and irritates them because it's not common. It's that Sigma INFJ trait in us, which states that we want to be ourselves. We want to be our own leader. We want to go our own path, and we want to give others the right to do that themselves. But for most people, it's a different ballgame. Most people fall into this category of alpha and beta, right? Without being judgmental here or anything like this. But think of it like this. There are those people who like to be leaders, and they need people to follow them. And the followers are thankful for the leader because it allows them to relax. It allows them to say, okay, that person knows what's going on. And if I attach myself to that person, everything will be okay. And the one who leads takes on the responsibility of deciding, where are you going to go? What are you going to do tonight? What do you like to, do, and what kind of fashion things to go on, and what is important, and like what to voice. Like that's something that requires willpower. That's something that requires, initiative and drive. And the leader, takes this on. But they also do this because they know that the followers have a certain respect for them. The leader says, I'm going to lead you, but therefore you're sort of obedient to me, right? This happens on a very subconscious level. It's just something to keep in mind. But then the INFJ comes along. And what does the INFJ do? They don't initiate. They don't want to be a leader. But they also don't give the other person the respect that they want, which is, I do everything that you say. You are the one who is like the most popular. You're the one that everybody wants to follow. The INFJ doesn't play by those rules. And so if a person falls into this category of follower, leader, in that kind of relationship, it irritates them if somebody shows up who doesn't want to play this game at all, but at the same time doesn't feel like, oh, I wish I was part of that circle at all. We are saying, yes, you can be a leader and I'm proud of you. You're doing a great job. But I'm over here and I'm doing my own thing. So how do we deal with this aspect? Well, this is something you have to decide for yourself. For me, I've just decided that this is a game I'm not going to play. And if I have people like this in my life, they're in my life at a very big distance because this is just something that we cannot connect on. And that's totally fine. And I'm not even here to say, okay, so everybody who's playing those games doesn't really belong into your life, because I don't believe that. I believe that you can have a relationship with people who are in this like alpha beta atmosphere, to be totally okay with that, to have great connections with people who fall into this category, because this isn't like a all or nothing kind of thing. This is a spectrum, and we all to some extent are in any kind of capacity on that spectrum. But I also want you to be aware of that these things are happening, and that some people are going to be irritated by the fact that you just don't want to play those games, and that is fine. Right? It's totally okay, because they have to play those games in order to feel socially included. So it's something like a corset. It's something that they feel they have to do. And if you come along and you're completely carefree when it comes to this, of course, it's going to make people uncomfortable and irritate them. Know this, deal with this, and let it be. Remember, if you want to take it a step further and you say, okay, I'm going to be all over this, I'm not going to care at all because I just love my life and the way I create it, then join the INFJ Epic Life Bootcamp. The next live round launches November 6th and the first live session will be November 13th. So make sure you're on that waiting list. You get access to the early bird price and you get notified when we go live. All the information you find in links in the description. And if you want to watch another video now that is in alignment with today's topic, then watch the video of the 5 weirdest habits of the INFJ.